Everything we do here at James Project focuses on caring for vulnerable women and children because we believe that's the call that God has placed on every one of us as Christians.
Hey, we're back with the James Project podcast, and today we are talking to Rebeca Vasquez. Did I say that right?
Yeah, it was right. All right.
Okay. All right. So Rebecca has been a team coordinator down there for a few years, and she has a new job now as the sponsorship coordinator. But we're going to hear all about her experience with the project. So, Rebecca, tell us about yourself. Where are you from?
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be part of this podcast. And I feel so happy to have this opportunity to talk with you and to talk about what the James Project is and how the James Project impact my life and my family. So I was born in El Salvador, which is the smallest country in Central America. So if you check on the map, you will find El Salvador in the middle of Guatemala and Honduras. I love my country, culture and food, everything there. So I am from El Salvador. I grew up there and I came to live in Guatemala when I was 19 years.
What brought you to Guatemala?
I came because I heard the voice of God and I heard that He was calling me to be part of His kingdom, but in a different or more specific way. So I decided to leave my country, my people, my family. I was a teenager when I did it. I was 19 and I said, God, yes, I want to go. Yes, here I am to serve you. So I came to study the seminar, theological seminar, and I studied a degree in theology. So that's why I decided to move to Guatemala.
Tell us a little bit about your family there.
Well, I am the fourth of 7 siblings, 2 boys and 5 girls. My parents are Christians, so I grew up in a sane environment. I say family, I remember that we used to serve in marginalized communities with poor people, with people who lived in need. So with my parents, we used to go every weekend to these kind of places. And there was a small community that impact my life. And we used to spend like every weekend in that place. And in that place, I learned the meaning of love, the meaning of serving people in need. And I can say that my parents did a great job teaching me through their example the meaning of love, or teaching me through their example the following scripture: whatever you did for one of this list of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. So this is something I learned from them. And I can say that after many years, I can still practice serving and loving people that live in need. Not because I am better and not because I have like many resources to help, but because I have the heart to help others.
Mhm. That's beautiful. That's what every Christian parent's dream is, right? To raise their kids
Yeah,
that way.
yeah, that's it.
You must make your parents very proud.
I hope so.
And just to clarify, that was Jesus talking, saying, "Whatever you did for the least of these, you
Yeah,
did for me."
yeah, it is a verse from the Bible.
Yes. So you studied seminary and
Yep.
theology in
Yep.
Guatemala,
That's it. Yeah.
right?
7 years.
Is that where you met
7
your husband?
years. I met my
Yeah.
husband at a seminar. Yeah. He's from Guatemala. Um, he's a pastor.
Mhm.
And when after a year dating, we get married, and then we have 3 precious kills, and that's it. We are a family that loves serving people and that love being part of the kingdom of God, again, in a specific way.
How old are your kids now?
The oldest one is 11 years, then the boy, who is 10, and the youngest one is 7 years.
You had some interesting connections with your kids and the James Project before you started working there, right? Well, your
Yeah,
twin, your
that's it. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we moved to Monjas in 2014 because there was a church that hired my husband to be the pastor of that church. So that's why we moved to live in Monjas. And when my oldest girl was 4 years, there was a competition between different schools, and the competition was at the project. So we went to the project. We spent like a few hours in there, and we realized it was a beautiful place, but we didn't learn a lot about the ministry they were
Right.
doing down there. So we just arrived and we spent the whole morning over there. By the way, my girl got the first place in singing. She performed as a singer, so it was a good experience for us.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I visited the project, but
Oh,
it was like 8, 8 years or 7 years ago.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that wasn't the only connection you ended up having with the project before you worked there.
Mm, well, after that, after that competition, there was a guy in our church who started dating with Jocelyn, Tiffany's daughter. And when they get married, my husband did the ceremony. So in that wedding, I met Tiffany and Jocelyn and some people from the project. But again, I didn't hear a lot of the ministry, or I didn't hear something that make me feel like in love with the ministry. You know what I mean? I just met them and I heard that it was a great place, but that was all. I didn't hear like a lot of what they were doing down there.
Okay.
So before being part of the wonderful JPLA family, I got like some little connections. Like we
Yeah.
visited the place, then we met Tiffany and we met Jocelyn, and Kevin, who is Jonit and Herbert's son, was my student for a couple of years, but we didn't talk a lot because it was during COVID-19, so communication was more through video calls and something like that. But after that, uh, Malcolm, who was a friend of my family, he started working at the James Project as a social worker, and he used to go to our house very frequently, and he started talking about the kills, the ministry, the teams, the widows, the Redeem program, and it was like, it's a great place to serve. They have like this kind of vision and mission that leading us or approached us to the meaning of religion. So I just heard him, and he was like very exciting for being part of the James project. And he talked to me about the project and what they were doing over there. So for me, it was like there is a place in which there are some people that are doing more or that are doing something that means for eternity. Because we used to do things that have a specific or a particular meaning, but here in earth. But when I heard what the James Project was doing, like about 5 minutes from my house, was like, wow, that is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It is incredible. I hear what you're saying, where you're saying we do these jobs that are, important in the world, like whether you're working at Walmart or, whatever it may be.
Yeah,
Those are important jobs, but this felt very, very different, being more eternal value. Like you're really,
that's it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's it.
So how does Malcolm connect to the project?
Well, he used to work about a year as
Mhm.
a social worker, and he also helped with some gardening. But then I realized that he was dating with Mariel, who was the team coordinator before me. And Mariel is an amazing woman. I respect her a lot. I understand she did a great job for the project. So there was like in the past, I have like a small connections and like small ideas of what the James project was. But after hearing Malcolm and after hearing about Mariel and know what they were doing there was like they opened my eyes and I realized that it was great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then Mariette, what happened there? Because she was dating Malcolm and the
Yeah.
team coordinator, but then you became the team coordinator, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I was not looking for a new job.
Mhm.
I was busy. I was working as a teacher. I was helping my husband at church. So I wasn't looking for a job. But, and I also have in that moment the opportunity to run my own food business.
Food
And,
business?
sorry, like a
Food?
restaurant.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So then Malcolm told me that Mario was about to leave. And he said, because I know you, that you have a serving heart, because I know your skills, I am sure that you fit very well in this position.
Mhm.
And I was like, let's see, let's see what is that. So he told me that, and I talked to Herbert, and it was like June or July, something like that. And then it was like, I think it was June. And after talking to him, then I was waiting for another call, but he didn't call. But I knew that Mariel was leaving. So I was waiting because I was not looking for that. And then I, Herbert called me and he said, Tiffany is here and she wants to know you. She wants to meet you. And he said, can you come this afternoon? And I was at school, I was teaching, I was doing my job, and I said, okay, I can go. And I went, and I finally met Tiffany, because before I just had like some connections, small connections, or ideas. But that afternoon, she talked to me, and it was a good moment. Something different for me. Um, but I can say that in that conversation, I understood a lot about what the James Project is doing for the kids. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure she was able to explain it even more fully than
Yeah.
Malcolm could.
Yeah. Yeah. I have my first interview with Herbert, and it was easy for me because I met him. I know Kevin was my student, and I
His
met
son. Right?
Johnny. Yeah, so I was like, um, I feel very confident when I was talking to him. I feel confident about him.
Mhm.
But when he started talking about the job, about the position, about what you will have to do, for me was like, this is a lot for me. In the past, when someone said, do you want to preach? I say, okay, I can do it. Do you want to do this? Okay, this is easy and let's do it. And I always try to be like positive and to do everything with energy. But when Herbert talked to me about the team coordinator position, and he said, okay, so you must be very organized, responsible, and you are going to interact with the teams like every time, every day they are here. So for me, it was like, this is something bigger than me. This is not going to be easy. So I left the main office and I saw the Save a Tree, which is the big tree that is in the entrance of the project. And I I saw the Save a Tree and I said, as big as that tree is this ministry. And I'm not enough for this ministry. That's how I felt that day. I
Wow.
felt like I told you before, I was not looking for another job,
Mhm.
but I was looking for something different, something that approached me to pure religion.
Mhm.
And they at the James Project have that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And when you say pure religion, you're talking about the verse that they use, right? Religion
that's
that
it. Yeah, James
is
1:27.
yes, yes, is
Yeah,
taking care of orphans and widows. Yeah.
yeah. Because I spent 7 years at the seminar
Mhm.
studying, and I took like many subjects about God, about religion, about Bible, about preaching, about counseling. And I spent with my husband 2 years working as a youth pastors, and then 10 years as my husband as a senior pastor. But during this about 2 years at the James Project, I have experienced more about God, about love, about religion. So that's what I say, that I was not looking for a job, but I
Mhm.
found what I was looking for. I was looking for something that approached me to God.
Wow, that brought you closer to God.
Yeah,
So that's pretty impressive that you spent 2 years as youth pastors. Well, first 7 years in seminary, two
yeah,
years as youth pastors, 10 years as your with your husband being a senior pastor, and just a couple of years in this 15-acre plot
yeah,
with people. You grew closer to God in that time. That's pretty
yeah,
remarkable.
that's it. Yeah, that's it. And yeah, I think for me it was a gift, and not only for me, for my kids, for my
Mm,
husband, because for us, being part of the project, even he's always busy at church, but he's always supporting me and encourage me about what I'm doing for the James Project. So as a mom and as a wife, I can say that the the James Project is the best place to teach our kids about God, about love, and about serving others.
and what a great opportunity to do that in front of them. to be at the James Project.
This is something that only God can do.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
So, how did you go from that interview with Hair Bearer, finding out all of the different aspects of the job, and walking out the door, looking at the paper tree, thinking this is way bigger than me, and losing
Yeah.
all confidence that you could do this? Whereas with everything
Yeah.
else you've done in the past, you attacked it with energy and confidence. How did you push past that hesitation to feel like you were not enough for this?
Mm. I know that God is not going to give us something without training us. So when I said that I was looking for something different, I understand that I was looking for being closer than him. So after heard about the team coordinator position and all the aspects of the job, Herbert said, and I remember that Herbert said, just ask God to give you his favor or to put favor upon you in front of the Americans that visit the project. And that was, okay, I feel that I'm not enough for this. And now, oh my gosh, this is not helping me. But you know what happened? That what we need, and it doesn't matter if, as you mentioned before, it does. Sometimes there are some people working at Walmart or in any other places,
Mhm.
but everywhere and everything that we do is like what we need is His favor. So His favor upon us. And after thinking about His favor, and after talking with my husband and my kids, we didn't hesitate about taking the job. And I didn't take it by myself. We did it as a family.
Yeah, because when teams are down there, it's quite a commitment of your time. It's
Yeah.
not a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it interferes with family things. So fortunately, lots of times your family gets to go or would get to go, right? Or
Yeah.
and participate with you, which is really great. But sometimes you just had to be there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said yes to the job.
Yes.
All right.
I faced some obstacles before
Mhm.
taking this decision and after taking the decision. So it was like necessary to think and create a balance
Mm.
between the job, the family, church, my personal life. But I faced some obstacles before and after taking the job.
So, I want to touch on that a little bit because sometimes I think that we as Christians want like just the wide open door and no obstacles, nothing we have to fight through. We
Yeah.
just want God to like blow the door open on whatever opportunity he has for us and not have to push past anything, right? Sometimes we think that it should be that way, but you're saying you had obstacles when you chose to take the job. Well, before you chose to take the job and after you chose to take the job.
Yeah.
How did you not let those obstacles, how do you discern between like a closed door, like this is not what God wants you to do, and that's why those obstacles are there, and obstacles that are just trying to deter you from doing what God wants you to do? How do you make the distinction?
I can say that God is always expecting from us to take decisions, but not in our strength, not in our skills, not because we are good. So after praying and after trying to understand what he was expecting from me, I decided to take the job. But one of or I can say the biggest obstacle I faced was being a wife pastor. Because there is a cultural issue in our midst. People believe that the wife pastor is not free to take another job or serve for another organization besides the church in which her husband is serving. So that was the biggest obstacle before taking and after taking the job. When I started spending time as a team coordinator, some people expressed they disagree with me because I was doing that. But every time I spend time with a team or visiting some communities, some widows or single mothers that live in need, I can say, God, but this is what you expect from us. You are expecting from your children, your church, to be light and to be salt. And I cannot be light just being in charge. I cannot be salt just being or serving for people who already know you, who already have your love, who already got salvation. So that was the biggest obstacle I faced. Yeah.
Yeah, that's challenging. But your husband was supportive, right?
Yep. Yeah. He always was like, go and do it.
So,
Just go and do it, and I will handle the rest. He gives me a balance. He gives me like or makes me feel confident about what I was doing. Yeah.
That's great. And it sounded like you were saying when we face obstacles, if the job that God has asked us to do, or if we're trying to do something in our own strength and we're facing obstacles, it's probably a good indication it's not something God asked us to do. But if it's something He's asked us to do and we're facing obstacles, He'll give us what we need to push past them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna give us like the direction, because it's not easy to figure out His will.
Right.
His will is going to be different for everyone, but the objective is the same. Okay, so if I'm going to visit a widow who doesn't have anything to eat for today, and this is God's will, He's sending me to visit and to pray for these people. And I experienced some healing, salvation when we visited the different houses with teams. I experienced that kind of things. Yeah. And even I was like, I know that there are some people that disagree because now I am part of this ministry. But this is not about organizations or ministries. No, this is about God, about His kingdom. And that when we are doing His will, we are going to experience peace. So if I am visiting this widow, or if I am visiting the nursing home, and I have peace in my heart and in my mind, I am in His will. And that is enough to continue doing.
That's wonderful. And so it sounds like you're saying we need to block out the noise of what other people think we should be doing and really try to focus on what we feel that God is leading us to do and look for that peace that He provides, even when someone thinks we might be going in the wrong direction. That we need to lead more on what He is directing us to do than others. It's hard sometimes when it's hard not to worry about what other people think. It's hard not to worry about, especially as a pastor's wife, I would imagine that's pretty hard because you must feel a little bit like you're putting your family in a particular situation where your family's being judged too, not just you know what I mean? So
it is it is not easy,
Mhm.
but as a family, we have understood his will and we have decided to live for him and serving him in
Mhm.
the place he wants us to serve.
That's wonderful. And it sounds like it like you said before, you didn't just take the job, your family took the job. Because it
Yeah,
sounds like you went into it knowing that these were gonna be some obstacles and you all had to be on board
yeah.
if you were gonna be able to do it. So, what's been the most rewarding aspect, or what was the most rewarding aspect as a team coordinator?
Um, the most rewarding aspect of the job is being part of the JPLA family.
Mm,
It does not have a price. I don't have niece or nephews in Guatemala because I'm not from Guatemala. But on my first training day, I realized that without any effort, I suddenly got more than 100 nieces and nephews. Because when you have been there
yeah.
and all the kids are
Mhm.
going to say, Tia, 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 so which is aunt. So for me was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I don't have family here in
Mhm,
this country, just
mhm.
my husband and my kids. But in my first training day,
That's great.
you know what I mean? It was my first day at
Mm,
the James Project, and these kids came to me and started loving me,
mm.
and that's rewarding. That's the most rewarding aspect,
Yeah.
being part of this amazing family.
Mm.
Um,
And the
each
kids,
kid,
yeah,
even those who are not with us anymore, represents a smile that in some way makes me feel complete.
that's wonderful. And it is so great that, I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. I was talking to someone for the last one, Kathy Croslin. We were talking about how up here, in our world, we might not be the most popular person or fit in with the crowd or, any of that kind of stuff. They don't care about any of that down there. You get on that property and you are just loved like you're a rock
Yeah,
star,
yeah,
and they
that's it.
yeah, it's such an amazing place because of that. Like, I don't know anywhere else on earth that has that kind of love just pouring out of it unconditionally. Like, you don't even have to do anything but show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hadn't even worked a whole day yet, and they're just pouring their love out over you. So, what was the most challenging aspect of the job itself? Not the
Oh,
obstacle so much, but the job
yeah,
itself.
that's a good question.
Mm,
That's a good one. Okay, the most challenging aspect of the job is to have a balance
mm,
among all the areas of the James project because the teams come to serve and to serve everyone at the project. And sometimes we focus this service only in the kids or only in the parents on only with the people of the office. Um, but after a couple of teams, um, I spent some hours analyzing every or each schedule. So I got like my first teams, and after that, I reviewed. Okay, so with this team, we did an activity for the kids, for the house parents, and the team left a gift for the kids and for the house parents, which is good
mhm,
because they are the center of the ministry. And then I go to the other schedule and I review the other one, and it was the same, and
mm.
so on. And I realized there were about 12 tias. You know what the tias are for us, right? So the
Yeah.
ladies to take care of the houses when the house parents are not at the project. Maybe they are in their day off or on vacation or something else. So we have about 12 tias, we have about 15 teachers, but we also have the biological children of the house parents. And these people at the project are part of the family too and have different needs that must be ministered in a different way. So I started to offer to some team leaders activities for these people. Let's have a dinner for the tias. Let's have a breakfast for the teachers. Let's take out the children, the biological children of the house parents, and give them the opportunity to know that we appreciate the sacrifice they are making with the minister their parents have.
Yeah.
You know, and I realized that, and I focus on the children of the house parents because my dad and my mom, they are pastors. My husband is a pastor, and I can say how my kids are automatically part of the ministry. And I started offering to some team leaders, do you want to have like an activity for the children of the house parents? And some of them said they don't need it. But some others say yes because they deserve it.
Yeah.
And I talked to some team leaders and I said, do you want to have a dinner with the tias because they deserve to be ministered as well? And some of them said, maybe no, but some of them said yes because they deserve it.
Yeah.
And it was the same with the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that we went to the school with a team, and the teachers were surprised because we just gathered them and we say, we are going to pray for you because you need to be ministered. And sometimes we focus our energy and resources in different areas and we forget other areas that are important as well for the ministry. So that was the most challenging aspect of the job, like to create a balance, to think about everyone at the project, to think about those who are serving but maybe not seen. You know what I mean? To be able to identify the balance we need to direct the blessing to everyone.
That's
So
really important
yeah,
because you can get really distracted by those amazing kids.
yeah, that's it. And they deserve it. They
Yeah.
are the center. I mean, what we are doing is for them.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes the people who are serving them also need like,
And
yeah,
some extra love for sure.
yeah, some attention.
Mm-hmm. So all of the teams, like you're saying, get to do different ministry opportunities. What's some of your favorite ministries that the teams have done?
That's not an easy one. All the teams give what they have.
Mm-hmm.
I remember your team last year.
Yeah.
You share with us joy
Mm-hmm.
because you have joy and you came and bring us joy. And it was different with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed each activity. Sometimes for me was like I was in this activity and I spent all my energy and ideas and everything in that activity, and then it seems like I have like 15 or 30 minutes to rest. So during that time I unplugged myself from the team, from everyone over there.
Yeah.
But then there is another ministry option or another activity, and I try to enjoy that. So all of them were my favorites. because all of them gave me the opportunity to learn something different.
Mm.
But there was a family in town, and this family, Rudy, started visit them, and I told him, we are going to deliver some food baskets. You can pick the people. And he said, there is a family that the husband had an accident some years ago, and the wife was pregnant
Mm.
when the accident happened, and he is totally laid in bed. He cannot move by himself, and they have 3 kids, and it is a boy and 2 girls.
Mhm.
And I remember my family. I remember my husband. I remember my kids. And I told him, okay, I want to go and visit them.
Mhm.
And we went to that house. It was heartbreaking because the wife said, can you help me to move my husband? Because I cannot move him. And he has been in that position, in the same position, for a week.
Oh.
And for me, it was heartbreaking.
Mhm.
So even I enjoyed each activity, each ministry option. There were some that gave me a different point of view about life.
Mm.
Life is not easy for everyone.
No.
There are some people that is facing battles that are difficult, and sometimes we just have this sense of what if in our hearts.
Mm.
What if I got a different job? What if we can do this or have this or change this? But then when I arrived to that house and I realized they were facing that difficult situation and they are still facing the same situation. And if God give us the opportunity to visit them, love them, hug them, pray for them, it's because he wants to teach us a different point of view about life.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that was the house that it was his birthday last year and we got to bring him a cake, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there was such joy there, even in that hardship. Like he was so appreciative, and those little girls were so,
Yeah.
the kids were so excited and happy. And yeah. So even in hardship, they're just, when they receive those blessings, they're able to with joy, which is, that's what I find remarkable. Like, I think that sometimes when we're suffering with something that's really, really difficult, we have a tendency to just, not even appreciate things that, blessings or different things, because we're just so annoyed that it's hard. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That it's hard for us to even experience the joy of somebody trying to help us. We brush them off, or, just have an attitude about it. And they did not. They were so, so happy to have us there, so happy to have us sing happy birthday to him. And
Yeah.
it was really, really great to be able to do that for him. And even
Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing to be part of the teams and to be part of the activities they do. And it is amazing to see how God lead us to the
yeah.
place he wants us to go.
Mhm.
And like that, I have like a lot of experience that I can say, but that one is like, it's God telling me, look at look at this situation, and they are still expressing joy. So why not?
Right.
We
It
can,
puts
yeah,
things in perspective and helps us look at, like, we should not be complaining about anything.
that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. It's a very good perspective check for sure. You mentioned to me before how helpful Victor was to you when you were at the team
Yeah.
coordinator, because it's a big job for one person. So tell us a little bit about
Yes, it
who
is.
Victor is and how he helped you.
Of course, it is a big job for one person. It is like, imagine 17 people at the team house, and then you have to administrate everything and to have everything ready at the time that should be ready. So the work requires being organized, responsible, and focused on what the teams are doing. Having Victor as a co-worker at the team house is a huge benefit for the team coordinator, for the teams, and for everyone at the project. So he used to come when the team has a lot of members and the activities require him. But of course, having him as part of the program is a blessing. When Victor comes to help with the teams, the burden is less heavy. You know what I mean? It is like I have someone to share this big responsible I have, this burden I feel, and to have someone working with you is a blessing. And he's a good friend, and when he's at the team house he can be in charge of translation and driving, while the team coordinator is in charge of the little details that make successful each work or ministry opportunity. I can say that having him, and not only him, but also having Anna and Brenda serving for the teams alongside was a privilege for me. They are the three of them. They are excellent co-workers and friends, and I learned a lot from them.
Mm. And Anna and Brenda are the cooks there. They're
Yeah,
amazing.
they are amazing.
Yeah. But I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
when we had our conversation before we recorded, you told me about Moses and how the story of Moses related, like you related to it when you took this job. So tell us about that.
yeah. I can think about Moses, but not only for me. I can think about him, and I can realize that everyone at the project faced like this kind of situation. Because at the project, everyone knows that no one has a normal job. It's not a normal job. And before being part of this ministry, God asked us the same question he did to Moses. And it is like he asked us about what do you have in your hands?
Mm.
What do you have there? Because sometimes what we have seems little and insignificant, but God, in the will to do something, it doesn't matter how small we are or how little it is what we have or how insignificant we think it's going to be. God is in the will to do something powerful through our lives. It doesn't matter if we think that this is amazing. Oh, I have amazing skills. I have amazing talents, and I can do this for the project, or I will be like the best team coordinator the project ever has. No, because it's not for us, and and it's because of him. And when he called us, and I'm not talking only about me because I have talked about it with my coworkers, and they are gonna say the same. We have nothing
Mm.
in our hands that can impress the world or can create a powerful um,
Impact.
change,
Yeah.
impact in the kids. But this humble stick or this humble cane we have, and that cane for me could be like, I don't know, maybe the ability to go and say hello to someone,
Mm.
or this cane for the teachers can be the possibility to teach someone how to learn, or how to read, or how to zoom, or how to rest or count. Because outside, in any other place, in any other job, there is gonna be something everyone can do. All the teachers and all the teachers can teach how to read, but not all the teachers can teach how to be different or the meaning of love. So when God called us to be part of the James Project, He's telling us what you have in your hands in this world is nothing, just a stick, just a cane. But in His will, He's gonna do something powerful with us. And with that simple cane, I can say, okay, God, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I know I was talking to Dallas a few podcasts ago, and I was telling him I was starting to underline the I will statements in the Bible of God saying, I will, I will, I will. And there's over
Yeah.
1,500 of them. And it just struck me
Wow.
that I was like, wow, yeah, you're going to do it. It's not going to be me. It's not within my capability or my talents, or it's not even about me, you know? So it really
Yeah.
was quite freeing to realize that it is in his hands. It's my obedience is the only thing I have to offer, you know?
That's
And
it. Yeah.
that's all my job is. And he takes care
Yeah.
of the rest. So that was it takes some weight off to realize that, you know what I mean? And it helps. I think it's very freeing to think like that. Like you understand that you don't have anything so remarkably special. You
Yeah.
got
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
us do.
Yeah.
All we have to offer is our obedience to God in whatever
Yeah.
area he calls us to do something, whatever area like you said, even just saying hello to someone, just showing up for someone, giving someone a smile as
Yeah.
we walk down the street. It doesn't even have to be anything big. Just have your heart open to be willing to obey whatever it is, no matter how small or how,
Yeah.
yeah. And then he's going to do something with it that, I mean, that we couldn't even imagine. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's up to him. And
That's it.
Moses said that was all he had was a stick. And because he's like, what am I supposed to do, God? You want me to free the Israelites? How am I going to do that? And he's like, well, what do you have in your hand? And, and he
Yeah.
used that stick in a lot of different ways through
Yeah.
God working through him and through his story. So, yeah, pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
So, what would you had said too that what you had to offer was sort of like a bridge too. We talked about how
Yeah.
what you felt like you had to offer.
Yeah. Being the team coordinator and being part of the James Project, for me, is like being a bridge to connect the kills with the teams.
Mm-hmm.
What I have in my heart is the desire to share, to love, um, but sometimes we don't have the resources,
Right.
and there is someone that wants to love and that have the resources but cannot interact with the people in need, and there is the bridge to connect.
Yeah.
So being able to connect the kids with someone who wants to let him or to let them know that they are special,
Mm-hmm.
that they have a purpose,
Right.
and I am just the bridge to send the message, you know. Okay, so this is the team that wants to let the kids know that God loves them. But if the team only come and say God loves you, the kids are gonna be like, what did they say?
Mm-hmm.
And then just being able to say, they said that God loves you, and they are going to understand. And it is the same. It is the same with positive words. It is the same with the food basket deliveries. It is the same just visiting the nursing home. This team wants to share with the nursing home at the mall. Let's share at the mall and let's help them to connect them to be in touch, to understand each other. So it is amazing to be that kind of bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. As you're talking, I'm trying to imagine what it would be like if we didn't have a translator, if you weren't there, when we go to do these things, it would really not be as effective.
Yeah. And even we can use some devices like our
Phone.
yes,
Yeah.
our phone or something like that. And it's not gonna be the same because the phone is not gonna understand the feeling.
Right.
The phone is gonna say, God love you.
Mm-hmm.
But the phone is not gonna say, they said that God loves you.
Right.
So it's different.
It is different. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a neat way to look at that job, being that bridge.
Yeah.
It must feel very fulfilling.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's good. So we talked about at the beginning how you've moved on to the sponsorship coordinator. Tell us what that transition, where that transition came about, and what will you miss most about the team coordinator job?
Oh my goodness. I am already missing
Yeah.
the crazy days.
Mm,
Being busy, come and go all the time. I will miss that. Just being busy, just the crazy days. Because the rest is still in my heart.
mm,
The sense of purpose, the sense of being helpful, the blessing of connecting people in need with those who want to help. And I can say, yeah, I will miss the team coordinator position. I am already missing that, but I will miss just being around and being everywhere
mm,
because the rest, the meaning of the job, the meaning of the position, which is serve, love, um, connect people, is still in my heart.
mhm.
But I know that sometimes God wants us to be quiet. And I can say now that this is my time to be quiet
Mm,
because before being part of the James Project, I was pretty busy working as a teacher, running the restaurant, helping my husband at church. It was for 10 years. And then I went to the project and I started working as a team coordinator and I was pretty busy.
mhm,
But now it's calling me to be quiet, and to know that He's God
mm,
and to be locked in what matters the most.
mm.
So I will miss that, but I appreciate what God is doing in my life, with my family, with my kids.
I know that's got to be really hard for you though, to be quiet.
Yes, it is hard for me. It is like, what's next?
Right. I can imagine it is. But what a good way to that you feel like
Yeah,
the time he's asking you to do that. And really it seems like it's when I hear you talk about it, it sounds like it's probably in the long run like a recharge season for you for whatever's
yeah,
next. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because you have been busy for so long. And lots of times we need that quiet to catch our breath,
Yes,
refocus, make sure we're not missing where he's asking us to be, and just remembering that it is about him and not about us and all of those things. So that's challenging.
yes, it is.
And I hear what you're saying, that the same purpose for the sponsorship coordinator, the same purposes are there that were there for the team coordinator. You have the same calling on your job to connect people, to help, to be available, those kinds of things.
Yes, of course. Now that I am in charge of the sponsorship program, I
Mhm.
can see the project in a different point of view.
Mm.
Like when I was working with the kids, it was before Easter. We were writing the letters and doing the craft we did, but it was the first time I spent many hours with the kids at the project.
Mm.
Because with the teams it's different. We are going to be there for a couple of minutes and then we are going to be in another place. But when we were writing the letters, for me was like, okay, the kids are here. And I am here for the kids. I am just here to help them to write this letter, to express their feelings. And that's it. So now that I am working for the sponsorship program, I can say that I have the opportunity to interact with our supporters that are very special, and we greatly appreciate the support we receive from everyone. There are some people that they have not been at the project, but they love us and they love the kids and they are supporting the kids. You know, so the purpose, the spirit, and the desire to help is still in my heart, and I appreciate the opportunity that Tiffany gave me to be part of this program, to be in charge of the sponsorship program. I know I still have a lot to learn about the program. There are many things that we need to improve, but I'm sure it's possible. And we need it because the supporters deserve the best service. The kids deserve the best. So there is a lot to do in this position.
Yeah, yeah, it's a busy job. And so we were talking about the Easter thing. So for anyone who doesn't know, during the holidays, Easter and Christmas, right? It's just Easter and Christmas. You
Summer.
do oh, and summer. Okay.
Yep.
You
3.
do a gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
And you'll do a craft and a project with the kids that then will get sent directly to their sponsors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is something special because sometimes we forget how important it is to have someone who send us a letter because we live in a different world.
Mhm.
For us, it's easier to send like an email or something like that, and but have someone who take the time to write by hand
Yeah.
and to send us something special.
Mhm.
Um, it is helpful for the kids.
Mhm.
Some weeks ago, arrived to the project 3 sisters, about 10, 6, and a year,
Hmm.
kind of. And they spent at the project about 2 months, just 2 months. And then the judge decided to send them back to their family. It was only 2 months. Someone can say nothing. These 3 girls had someone who supported them during these 2 months. And I felt very happy to see how expressive they were when
Oh.
they write their letters. They cannot write. And they told me, can you write this and this and this and now write this? And it was like, oh my gosh, I need to translate this. But they received through our system 2 letters
Mhm.
in February, one and one in March. And then for Easter, they write the physical letter and we send it. During the 2 months they spent at that project, they knew they had someone that loved them, that sent them special messages, that sent them positive words. Someone who said, "Look, this is my horse and I want you to look at them."
Mm-hmm.
And someone who sent a picture of the cats, of the horses.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids were happy to receive that
Just a
because
connection.
they, yes, it was like only 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate, and I can say thank you to this supporter that for 2 months took the decision to support these girls, because these girls, now that they are in their house, they can say, at the project we had someone to show us love.
Mm-hmm.
We have someone to send us 2 letters, and we send them, and we reply to her. So it is amazing. I
Yeah.
love this. I really enjoy this.
Mm. It seems like it's very life-giving for you to be able to be in the midst of these interactions where you get to, because what you're explaining is when you sponsor a child, you get to email them once a month. And
Yeah,
you take the email that we send and you translate it for the child, and then you take their response and translate it back to English and send it back to us, right?
that's
And
it. Yeah.
just that whole being able to be the center of that, like without you those two things don't happen, the connection doesn't happen, so to be that bridge must feel really, really neat.
Yeah, it is special for me. I appreciate this opportunity. I know I need to improve a lot, but what I'm doing, it is, I mean, I have passion for this.
Yeah, you'll get there. We all start slow with a new job.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're doing amazing.
Thank you.
We didn't talk about, why did you end up switching? Why have you transitioned to the sponsorship quarter? What happened in your family that
Yeah.
necessitated that move?
Yeah, we spent 10 years living in Monjas. My husband had a job in that town, and we really get in love with that town, with that people, the church, everyone. I can say that we have a big family in Monjas,
Mm,
but sometimes God is calling us to move forward. And it was time for us to leave that church. And after some months, it wasn't an easy time for us.
mhm,
I won't say that. It wasn't something easy for me, for the kids, for my husband. But um, in every moment, we realized that God was leading us to be part of another place. So
mhm,
my husband um, took another church to administrate in a town that is about an hour and 15 minutes from Monjas. So for me, continue being the sponsorship coordinator, the team coordinator,
mhm,
living far away from Monjas was impossible.
mm,
And I was not thinking about leave the program. I was not thinking about leave the project. So I just went to Tiffany's office and I started talking to her, and I told her we need to leave Monjas. My husband is not gonna work for this church anymore. He already took another church to work, so we need to move. And after a couple of conversations, she decided to move me to the sponsorship program.
mhm,
I didn't understand uh, what was that. I just knew what I knew about the position or about the program was that Sue was in charge and Tracy was Sue assistant. So when she talked about me, she talked to me about the sponsorship program. Was like, but what is it? Okay, but and yeah, if I felt that the team coordinator position was bigger than me, I felt, or I am still feeling, that this is more than bigger. I don't know. I'm not sure if that makes sense in English, but it makes sense for me. So this is more than bigger. But
Overwhelming.
yeah, overwhelming. Yeah, it is. But I appreciate the opportunity. That's why I left the team's position, because we were living.
Yeah, that would have been a long commute every day.
Yeah, we are in his will.
And
Yeah.
in the town that you're living in now, you are closer to your family in El Salvador, right?
Yeah, that's it. Just about 40 minutes from my dad and mom house. So
Yeah,
I feel like comfortable.
that's nice.
Yeah, when all this situation started, we realized that we need to move. It was it wasn't easy for us to leave the church, but when we realized that it was necessary, we felt that everything that we built during 10 years was falling apart.
Hmm.
Church, school, friends, you know?
Wow.
But then we felt how God put like a mattress
A
to
soft land.
make us feel
Yeah.
comfortable,
Like a
and to make us, yeah.
yeah.
So we are in his will.
Mm-hmm.
We are not perfect. We still have some battles to face, but we are pretty sure that even being closer to my family is something he allow to make us feel better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also the teams that were at the project the last 3 months of the year were very supportive. Were like they helped me a lot. They helped my kids. They helped my husband. It was amazing to have uh, all of them, all the team members. It was difficult for me because I was working. Even it is a ministry, I was working. And for me, it was like, okay, when they arrived, and then I need to talk about the transition. Uh, and but all of them were like, trust in God, God is leading you to something better. And they spent time praying for me and for for my family. I remember there were like 3 teams here. Pure Love is this team. Someone else was here, but I can't remember. Chris O'Keen, I can't remember the name of the church. James River, I think.
I think
Yep,
so.
James River. Yep. So Chris O'Keen and Isaac, they were very special for us. So there were the last teams that were here. They really blessed our life because each team member had a word to bless us.
That's
And
wonderful.
it was amazing. So it was the same. God putting us something for us to feel the process much comfortable.
Much more comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes when we are doing something good, and we're trucking along and we're doing something really good and we feel like this is really, it's where God led us to. But when it's
Yeah.
time to to make that transition and change into something else, lots of times I don't think we are as quick to see it as we should be. So he has to start pulling things away so we feel the discomfort a little bit.
Yeah.
When my kids were small, we delivered food for the senior center for like 5 years, and they were little. And we had this last stop that was it was their apartments for the elderly, and we just had like family there, like just wonderful people that was our last stop. We would stay and visit for, I don't know, and we'd eat lunch in the parking lot with a picnic, and we'd visit a couple of them when they went in the hospital, went for sickness or rehab or whatever, and they were like family. And one day we found out that the director of the senior center was leaving. And I started to feel a little bit like, oh, I wonder, that feels weird. Like, because she was a huge part of our experience as well. We would go and visit with her for like a half hour after we delivered every week. And she was very, the kids are very connected to her. So when she retired, it felt like a little piece of, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. You know what I mean? I started to question it, but we kept
Yeah.
going. And then this new director, she was lovely, but about 3 weeks in to her stay, she completely removed that group of apartments from our route. That last stop of ours was just gone. I went in to pick up our food one day, and we didn't have that on our route anymore. And I went in to see her, and I said, what happened, to this stop? And she said, oh, I made some changes. But
Yeah.
but to us, it was like heartbreaking. I said, it just flew out of my mouth. Like I wasn't even a conscious thought, but I'm like, what are we going to do? Because it just was
Yeah.
so shocking. And she just said, I don't know, make new friends. And it just like crushed me.
Yeah, I understand that.
So devastating. But it was time for us to move on. I realized like within a month that, what, God's done with us here, and he directed
Yeah.
us and it was very clear where he was directing us after that. That's a whole nother story. But that pain of losing something, I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what the hell was that? That
Yeah.
seems so silly. But even when I got in the car and I told the kids, they're like, what? So it's sometimes he has to pull those things away that we are so enjoying thinking we're in his will. And it's not that we weren't in his will, but it's time for us to move on. So he has to make us a little bit uncomfortable to get us to move sometimes.
Yes. Yes. Because if we don't feel the same sense of being uncomfortable, we are going to stay in the same place
Yeah.
and we are going to keep doing the same things
Mhm.
we have been doing.
Right.
So when
And
God wants to, when God move us, is because he has something different for
Mhm.
us. Is because it's time to grow.
Yeah.
It's time to grow. It's time to change.
Mhm.
So for me, this is a quiet time
Mhm.
to heal and to know that he's God.
It's hard though. It's definitely challenging because we can't see what's next. We don't see the next step. We just see
Yeah.
what's being taken away. We just see we just experience the loss of what we just lost. But he
Yeah.
sees further down the road and knows what's coming, what new things he's going to have us do and what new growth we're going to have. But it's
Yeah.
hard because we don't see it yet. So,
And
yeah.
it is amazing to see how he put people around in the moment we really need it.
Mm,
Because when I told you that even the teams that came during that season were a blessing for us, it is because they were in the will to pray for us. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say, guys, please pray for me and my family and my husband. I didn't say anything. They
yeah.
just came and they say, Rebecca, we want to pray for you. We want to pray for your husband. We want to pray for your kids. And I think that is the reason, or that is why my kids love the teams. They love the teams. They love the project, the kids at the project, the people from the staff. They are like, these people is like a family for us. and they ask me, when are we gonna see this guy from that team on? Are we gonna see them again?
Yeah.
Because they felt love
Mm,
when they need to feel it.
yeah. That's
Yep.
wonderful.
Yep.
That's so wonderful. And it's it just speaks to the idea of community and how much we need community and how important it is to be available to people when you're in community. You know what I mean? Like God uses people. Yes, he could show up himself and do it, but how much better is it when we get to be his hands and feet and be that love for someone, because we get
Yeah.
joy out of it. Like it's kind of selfish. We get the love back. We get to see the joy on their face, and that just warms our hearts to be
Yeah.
able to be in his will like that and be part of that. It's a wonderful
Yeah, it
opportunity.
is amazing to let God uses us
Mhm,
in the way um, He wants to use us.
mhm. Yeah, we just have to be open to it.
Yeah.
You may have kind of touched on this already, but I wonder what aspects of this new role are you most looking forward to or feel will be most life-giving for you?
Well, I always say I love helping the kids. I love being with them and having the opportunity to help them how to express, because express feelings is something that we learn.
Mhm,
We don't know how to say I love you. We don't know how to say I miss you. We don't know how to say I want to see you.
mhm,
But being in this position now is having the opportunity to teach the kids how to express how they feel. I try to encourage them about expressing.
mm,
Express how do you feel, like writing this, or what did you feel when you read that letter, or you know.
mhm,
So I look forward to be able to help them to express what they feel. I am also looking forward to keep the supporters up with updated information,
yeah.
you know. So, but it is a, like, many kids, like 100 kids. So it is a big job,
Mhm,
but I have like this kind of goal, if I
mhm,
can say that is a goal. I I'm looking for update the information we have in our website,
mhm,
because we have some kids that they came 5 years ago and they still have the same picture
mm,
and the same information. And there was someone who came in a team before Easter, and she talked to me and she said, okay, I appreciate the website because it's helpful, but I have been supporting this girl for this couple of years, and every time I go to the website, the information is the same.
mm,
And it says that she arrived with her siblings, and that she wants to be, I don't know what she said in that occasion, but and the supporter told me. And I talked to her, and she doesn't want to be that anymore,
mm.
because it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Now she wants to be this. And it was like, I will try to update. I will try to update the information and the pictures. I know the sponsorship program is like a big opportunity to keep the supporters informed about what is going on with the kids.
Mhm,
And I respect Sue a lot. She gave me the training, and she were patient with me. She were like, okay, you can do this and this and this. And I love her a lot because she has spent many hours with me being patient.
Mhm.
I'm not a fast learner person, but she spent a lot of time with me.
Yeah.
And after talking with her about these kind of situations,
Mhm.
we realized that we need to update the information in the website. We need to keep the supporters informed about what is going with the kids. So it is a challenge for me. I
Mhm.
think this is sometimes is overwhelming.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's like a big job, but I want to do my best because I want to serve in the best way I can. And also, I have that commitment with the kids and with the supporters.
Yeah. But it's a big job to try to keep track of over 100 kids, what they
Yeah,
wanna be when they grow up, how long they've been there, especially when they come and go so quickly, some of them that are
yeah,
like the ones you said were only there for 2 months. It's
yeah,
hard to it's like a constant updating process, right? And trying to keep
yeah,
up with all of those different changes in the kids, and then on top of that, translating the emails for them and then translating back the emails from them to the supporters and keeping up with all of that. And then of course when teams come down, new people end up supporting other kids, and so you're constantly adding supporters all the time too. So yeah, there's a lot of aspects to that job.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's wonderful though. I'm sure that you're going to get a handle on it.
I'm trying.
Yeah. And so, there's who is it that replaced you? Vanessa, is that her name?
Vanessa, yeah, she's a great girl. I
Mhm.
admire her. She has these strong communication skills that the team coordinator needs to have, and I am pretty sure she's doing a great job. I appreciate her a lot. I met her about 10 years ago,
Oh, nice.
and yeah, I met her some years ago, but she used to live in the US.
Mhm,
So even I met her, we didn't have communication, but I know that she's gonna do a great job. Um, and I can encourage the teams just to be patient with her. It's not easy to have 8 teams in a row
mm,
and have everything organized for everyone. So if there are some team leaders seeing at this video, just be patient with her as a team coordinator. Just try to work in the same spirit
mhm,
because that is like the secret of the
mm,
ministry,
mm.
to
Yeah.
serve with passion and have the same spirit.
Mhm. Yeah, Paul talks about that a lot in the Bible. Just have be of one mind, be of the same spirit, be
Yeah,
unified. And it
yeah,
really does require that. I mean, I know taking a team down, you're taking all of these different people from all different walks of life that don't spend
yeah,
regular time together, and you're shoving them in a house for, a week together to
yeah,
live and share a shower and a bathroom and a
yeah,
room to sleep. And yeah, it's interesting. I've been on different teams, and sometimes it's very evident if someone's struggling to be of that one mind, kind of
yeah.
off a lot. So yeah, I get it. So important in every aspect, whether it's the
Yeah,
staff or the team or working with the team coordinator, really being remembering what the role is, what's the purpose of being there is important. Yeah. So, what do you think it is? You said before you did 7 years of seminary, 2 years youth pastoring, 10 years helping your husband with his church, and then 2 years at the James Project and got closer to God than ever. What is it, do you think, about the James Project that makes it so unique like that?
it is God's will to take care of the orphans and widows.
Mhm,
And what we are doing at the James Project is to follow his instruction.
Mhm.
I said this before. It's not the same to be, I love the church. I love church. I love Christian community. I love being part of a assembly. I love it. But what makes special the James Project is that we are following his will
Yeah.
to take care of those that are in need. And as I said before, because if we did something for this too that seems to be less,
Mhm.
we are doing this for him.
Mhm.
It's not for us. It's not because the staff is like very professional and we have skills and different talents. Nah, it's not for us. It's because the kids, because they need to be loved.
Mhm.
It's because we let God to show them love through our lives.
Mhm.
It's because of him.
Yeah. And lots of people say that they feel like the curtain between heaven and earth is a little thinner at the project. And do you know what I mean? Like his presence feels so much more um,
Yeah,
tangible. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
I
And
know what. Yeah, there is a song I cannot remember, but it says something that like God. I think it is the song Psalm 8:2,
okay.
and it says something about that, about how God, uh, or about how we can find pleasant in Him, or
Mhm.
about what He find pleasant through the kills. The kingdom of God belongs to the kills, and it is Psalm 8:2 and says, through the praise of children and infants, you have established a stronghold against your enemies, to silence the foe and the avenger. So it is because what we have there are kills,
Mhm.
and they are innocent, and from them, God established everything.
It's really remarkable. And I know I've said this to someone, but I sponsor a girl that is grown up and lives on her own now. But the second year I went down, she was still at the project and she sat down during sponsorship night and shared her whole story. And it was a really rough story. And things didn't miraculously turn around for her when she got to the project. You know, it wasn't like the day after she got there, everything was wonderful in her life. It wasn't. But
Yeah,
she could describe the night she arrived, and it was raining and she was in the back of a pickup truck and it was late, it was dark, but she said as soon as that vehicle drove through the gate I felt a peace. I mean, that's just incredible. And like I said, it's not, her life didn't miraculously get better as soon as she got there because she had a lot of baggage. She was older and she had a lot of baggage when she got there and it was really hard. But for her to be able to recognize that quickly, the peace, just driving through it, she hadn't met anyone yet, she hadn't
yeah,
seen where she was going to sleep that night, she didn't know what she was going to have for food, and she just said as soon as they drove through that gate I felt a peace. Like, that's amazing to me. But I know what she's
yeah,
talking about. You know, it's an incredible place, and I think you're right that they're just so they're operating so much in the will of God that it's just a different experience. You know,
yes,
we have so much noise in our lives and so many distractions that I probably, get it right, and and I'm fully in his will in my life like a percentage of the time. Just because you know what I mean? I have so many things that are yelling at me or, grabbing for my attention that I have a hard time. I have to really intentionally focus on him and spending time with him to get what he would like me to do, But
yeah,
down there, they're just, that is the mission. They are in his will. And so
yeah,
um it's a remarkable place to go and be. Yeah.
yeah. It is. It is a place in which we are going to experience heal,
Mm.
peace, and love.
Mhm. Even if
Yeah,
we're only there for a week.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
As Mama Carol said,
Mhm.
once a member of the JPLA family, always a member of the JPLA family.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter how much time you spend there.
Hmm. So before I let you go, is there anything else you want to share? Anything we didn't cover? Okay.
Yeah, I just want to encourage everyone that it's gonna see this video or hear the recording to follow his will and to trust him. And every time that you have the opportunity to come to visit the James Project, to be part of this amazing family, don't hesitate to do it, because God is going to change your life in this place. Because what
Mhm.
we have here are some children that praise God with all their heart. And that praise for them is what makes us very special.
It is amazing. So I often share this one last quote with people before I let them go, though, that from Mother Teresa, where she says, "We can't all do great things, but we can all do small things with great love." And it's such a testament to our legacy when we do that. You know what I mean? Where, like you said, sometimes it's just smiling at someone. Sometimes it's just, you know, saying hello. It doesn't have to be something big. But what do you think, thinking about your own family and your parents and what you're giving to your kids, like thinking about, I just see that legacy for your family coming down the line, you know, your parents teaching you what love looks like, how to serve, how to love the least of these for Jesus, and then you passing that on to your kids. It's such a beautiful picture of what that is in the small things and the big things. So as a parent, what advice would you give, having the experience that you have had with parents that have poured into you and being able to pour into your own kids? What would you give for advice for parents that might be listening?
I know we are not perfect. I know we make many mistakes all the time, but we can trust God, and He's in the will to leading us how to be better as parents. But what we can do is teaching our kids to love other ones with our example,
Mhm.
with our lives. So if there are someone that have the opportunity to come as a family and to serve at the James Project, um, not only just because it is a team from church, not because it is a team from my family.
Mhm.
When I was the team coordinator, I there were some teams that were like two families, and it
Yeah.
was amazing. It
Mhm.
was amazing to see that parents teaching their kids
Mhm.
how to love, how to serve, and how to give. So this
Yeah.
is gonna endure is forever.
Mhm. Yeah. And not just, I mean, the impact that it has on the people that go too when they come back, and just it's the ripple effect is I always think of it like that. Like there's such a ripple effect to going down and visiting, because not only are you touching people's lives there when you serve them and you love on them and you let them know that they're valued and important, but it changes us when we go down, so that when we come
Yeah,
back, we are different in our community and we are more loving and kind and more, I like to think we are more aware of need and a desire to meet the needs around us in our own lives too. It's not just for that week. So the ripple effect, I don't think we'll see, any of us, until we get to heaven, you know, that the impact that that little 15-acre plot in Guatemala has had on so many. It's remarkable.
it is something important that we need to practice every day,
Hmm.
to think about what we are gonna leave in the hearts of our kids,
Mm.
because they are going to remember that we take them to the pool, that we take them to a nice restaurant, that we provide them clothes. But are they going to remember that we serve people,
Mm.
that we give to others, that we share our meals with those who are more hungry than us? So it is what we need to do with our children.
Yeah. Well, I am so grateful for what you're doing with your children, but also all of your nieces and nephews at the James Project.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that
Thank
you get
you.
the opportunity to sit down with them individually and in smaller groups now and really get to spend some time with them, because I feel like God's going to use you in ways that you're not even aware of yet in that setting, where you're going to have an
Yeah.
opportunity to minister to those kids as you're interacting. I just feel like you're going to be able to have a good impact there on that smaller level, not level, smaller setting, more one-on-one. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's nice to have this opportunity.
Yeah. And I'll be praying that you can still stay quiet as long as God would like you to be quiet. Because
Thank you. I made it.
yes. And thanks for doing this with me today.
And it was so nice to have this time
Good.
talking with you.
Goodbye.
Bye.